Hey
Hello.
guys! Welcome back to Spill the Beans.
Spill the beans.
My name is Kelly.
I am Jordan.
Jordan, what do we do here on this podcast?
We like to talk about conspiracy theories. We like to talk about true crime. We like to talk about anything and everything that we are curious about.
Exactly. I love it. Alright guys, welcome back to another episode of Spill the Beans podcast. On this week's episode, we are going to be talking about chemtrails.
Chemtrails.
Jordan was really excited about this episode.
I am very excited about it.
So that's what we're doing.
But first.
Oh yeah, I almost forgot.
Drinks, please. Cheers.
Cheers.
To chemtrails.
Cheers to chemtrails.
Well, that's the thing. Chemtrails, you don't know what's going on because
my glasses off.
I, for one, am not a scientist and I don't have the means of finding things that I can shoot up into the trails of the chem and figure out what's going on. And you don't know if it's true, you don't know if it's false, but I guess we should just say a little bit about what chemtrails are for those who are watching that
may not know
what you're talking about.
Yeah. All right. So, chemtrails. Basically, well, the conspiracy theory starts off with... Okay, I'm starting off real bad right now. Okay, so chemtrails, what are they? Basically, when you see a plane in the sky, and you see that long white cloud behind it that stays there for a really long time, and you're like, that probably should have disappeared by now. But it hasn't, and it remains there for hours to the whole day.
A long time.
And so basically the theory is that these clouds that are falling behind planes are filled with chemicals that were potentially put in there by, like, the government or a private corporation. Or Batman. Or, and maybe not Batman, maybe, like, the Joker.
The Joker, he would do it.
Yeah, he would do it.
He would do it.
He absolutely would do it.
He would have gunpowder trails.
Gunpowder trails. And basically the idea behind that is that these chemicals are being used to either control the weather.
Yep. Mind control. Population control.
Yeah.
Because what I was saying earlier before we even started recording was maybe, there are people who have, cancer out there and other issues, and there's autism, and so think about it that way. If there are planes going above and doing their thing,
releasing
the hounds, so to speak, maybe, when we younger, we breathe it in.
Exactly.
Then we meet our significant other and then choose to have kids, and then our kids. So it's all kind of like tied in.
Yeah, because basically the idea is that these chemicals are basically infiltrating, like, the water or the plants or the air that we breathe, and it could cause, either, mental health issues or even, but I think more people are concerned about, like, physical health issues.
Even like stuff like anxiety. Whatever they're doing.
You never know.
You're always, like, tense or, like,
that's kind of an interesting idea too. If, some people think too, just like with the idea of putting fluoride in the water was used to make people docile. Some people think too that maybe the chemtrails, it's like a chemical to basically calm people down, so that way it's easier to control the masses.
Make them worry more. Make it like,
you never know,
make it
really.
Like the Black Friday of the sky.
What's Black Friday? Oh, are you? Never mind. I know what Black Friday is. I thought we were referring to, like, something else. No. Not like shopping spree.
Definitely
Black
shopping.
Friday. Okay.
Yeah. Money.
Oh yeah, maybe they like release the chemicals before Black Friday, and then that's when everyone's like, I gotta get that sale.
Give me the Barbie.
Give me the Barbie. I wanted the Barbie dream house.
Then stuff happens.
Yep.
But I've read that there are more people that actually do believe that this is kind of going on than people that don't believe that this is going on.
Which is pretty interesting.
And that's in the States and elsewhere.
Which is pretty interesting, because a lot of conspiracies, most people would like not to believe in it. So it's pretty interesting that a lot of people do believe in chemtrails.
I like the fact that we can talk about stuff, like me and you, about things like this. We have an open mind, and sometimes we disagree.
Yeah.
But it never turns into like a big like argument.
It can't. I mean,
or yelling or like violent. Like, dude, like I was reading about that. We'll get to him later, but a doctor or a somebody who does what is it called? Like solar geoengineering. He's gotten death threats because of his research.
It's crazy.
Moving on.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you gotta go into everything with an open mind, especially when it comes to conspiracies and this kind of stuff, because there's no really evidence proving that's true, but there's also no evidence proving it's not true. We really will never know until somebody comes out and is like, I mean, I feel like we'll never believe it until someone comes out and says it's true.
I know.
You know, because
I know.
Because they're always going to deny it. Wish the government has denied it, but people don't want to believe that.
That, 70, that one person out of all those people we will talk about in a minute.
Yeah. Let's talk about it now.
Sure.
You want to talk about it?
You have...
I just have a couple notes. I think the same thing though, because we both researched kind of the same articles.
We did. I wrote crappily though.
That's okay. All right. Well, so basically there was a group of 77 scientists.
77.
That did a study to figure out whether this whole Chem Trails thing was true or not.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they were testing soil and all that stuff, maybe in areas where
I think
there was a lot of reports about chemtrails.
I think they were even just testing the air.
Yeah,
testing
like the air
clouds,
quality and stuff. Yeah,
testing
that
all
makes
of that
sense.
Stuff.
And basically 76 of them found nothing, but one guy found a high amount of barium. I'm not 100% sure what that is, but look it up. A high amount of barium in one area. However, he couldn't link it to anything. So he couldn't link it to chemtrails, but he couldn't link it to anything else. So he was basically like, could be from this, but we don't really know, so I can't 100% rule it out.
Right.
What's barium, Jordan?
Barium is a chemical element with the symbol Ba and atomic number 56.
Nice.
Let's see. Because of its high chemical reactivity, barium is never found in nature as a free element.
Oh, so it's man-made.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty interesting then, that there's high amounts of barium in that area.
But it's insoluble. Is that how you say that word?
Insoluble?
Yeah, that's the one.
That means it can't dissolve into water.
So it's just kind
of... So it remains a solid.
Which would mean that if you had it in like a tank, or like if you put it in a water bottle full of water, it would just...
Yeah,
go to the bottom.
So I don't see how that would really be... I guess unless maybe it's harmful to plants or something, maybe...
It shoots out into a mist and just falls on things, and that's how it does what it does.
Yeah.
Characteristics: soft, silvery white metal with a slightly golden shade when ultra pure. What's that sound? That sounds like a commercial.
Yeah, it sounds pretty lovely.
It's like barium.
Spill the Beans, sponsored by barium. All right. Let's talk about, there's also what's called contrails, and those are normal. So those are basically what...
Those are what you don't have to worry about.
Those are what you don't have to worry about, and it's basically the formation of condensation trails, basically from a jet engine, kind of like the byproduct of basically an airplane flying, and then, there's going to be humidity and condensation in the air, and basically...
Going fast.
You're going wicked fast, so it basically causes the air to freeze. And I'm sure there's also byproducts of fuel and stuff
probably
that.
Exhaust.
Yeah, for sure.
But that's your
car. Yeah.
You're sitting in your car and it's cold out and it's warm in the car and you have the condensation going on, and that's another thing that they're trying to maybe do with the chemtrails, is try and fix global warming. The
ozone layer and stuff. I was thinking of that too, was maybe if the chemtrails thing is real, could they potentially be using it for something good, trying to fix global warming?
For both, there's always, but for some reason, there's always both.
Yeah.
There's always doing it for the right reasons, and then there's always that time where you want to just do an experiment to do an experiment.
You would think too, if they were doing it for like something to help the environment, that they would come out about it. But maybe they're scared of the backlash either way, whether it's good or bad.
Well, people, I don't know. People like us like to research and learn, even if we don't remember some of the stuff that we're researching and learning about. We like to research and learn about some of this stuff, but then people, they go there every day, their 9 to 5s or whatever they do, and they don't think about the stuff, and they just get, kind of into the realm of like television shows and this stuff, and then they wonder why, like, oh, I have a headache today. Why do I have a headache today? Is it all, coming to a head? You know what I mean?
No.
You don't look like she doesn't. She's looking at me like I have 5 heads. So basically, you do your day to day and you don't think about this stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
So then, when you start thinking about this stuff, you realize that things that happen to the human race, the stuff that the cancers that we had, or like skin problems or any of that stuff, it could be the cause. That I would love to say factually that this could be a cause of it, but you unfortunately don't know.
Yeah.
There are people out there that I think do.
Oh, absolutely. There are people out there that I think know as well.
Wow, I kind of went off
and
on a tangent.
Yeah, that's all right. But kind of relating back to your point too, I mean, it could kind of relate to the fact that even if they were doing something good, like trying to release chemicals into the air that would help the environment. Not sure how, but, maybe. With global warming, if they don't want to say anything about it, because how I was saying how people could either take it good or bad, and people who don't believe in global warming, because like you said, they're just like sitting there watching TV all day, so then they hear one thing like, oh, they're putting this in the atmosphere to help rebuild the ozone layer, and they'll be like, what the hell, they shouldn't be doing that, even though it could be something good.
Yeah, the news kind of teases you with these things.
Yeah.
It puts, it puts what it wants to put into your head. It tells you what it wants to hear versus what you want to hear. It's and
if all you're hearing too is just like those quick little stories instead of doing more of research on your own, all you're getting is the perspective that they want you to hear.
Plus, people don't have time for that anymore.
Yeah. You should, though. You gotta make time.
We do.
Yeah. Here we are right now.
We're busy. And eventually, we would like to be doing this full time. So
yes.
Happy epic. Moving on.
Moving on. All right, back to Chem Trails.
Yep.
So these are normal. That would fall behind aircraft. They dissipate very quickly. And these can only form at a temperature of minus 76 degrees Fahrenheit, which would be normal for commercial airlines because they travel between 35,000 feet and 39,000 feet. So it's normal for like your commercial airlines to have contrails. They shouldn't be staying there for hours. It should dissipate after a little bit, but those are normal.
Plus, I think commercial airlines also, don't they dump their waste while they're flying?
Yeah, like the poop and pee. I don't think that you would
That's
really
waste.
see that, but I mean, it is waste. I wonder what happens to it.
That's my point.
Imagine that falling on you. No, it must just disintegrate because they're going so fast.
Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it just all falls apart.
Yeah. Gross.
Nasty. But
military aircraft are supposed to fly below 30,000 feet. So therefore, they shouldn't be producing these kind of contrails because they're not flying at a high enough altitude where it would be cold enough for these to form. So it's kind of strange that a lot of these contrails or supposedly chemtrails are following these smaller military or private aircraft.
Well,
because they shouldn't really be.
No. We just before we started, we talked about an Airbus A30.
Yeah.
And inside the Airbus A30 was, we can put it up on the screen probably right here. That they have they literally have barrels full of water in them to see what, I don't know, you explained it better earlier.
So basically they had these different barrels of water that were connected by tubes. Basically in the formation that passengers would be sitting, and they said that these barrels of water, they were connected by tubes so they could basically transfer water from barrel to barrel and distribute.
Heavyset, light.
Yeah, they could
monitor the way the aircraft behaves.
Depending on like where weight was on the plane.
Which that I understand.
Which is totally possible.
That I get.
But other people are thinking that it's not actually water in these.
Well, some of them. I mean, I would think that
barrels.
Either all of them or some of them, or maybe like one, or I don't know. But that's definitely a good way of either saying that you're going to be trying weight displacement, or just making it like sound like you're doing something else.
Yeah, for sure. And this picture is from inside the same Airbus that has like the huge trails following it, right? The huge clouds following it. So I mean.
But normally, when I look up into the sky, I only see like a smaller aircraft. I don't see like this picture has 4.
Yeah,
but
I don't think I've
just
seen
see
that
2,
like that.
I just see like 1.
Yeah, I usually see the one long one.
And they're thin at first, and then they like
billow out,
expand, and then they go away, and then you're kind of like, wear masks.
Yeah, right.
Wear a mask all day. Maybe that's what they do. Maybe that's why they're wearing masks in like China.
It could be. I mean, I think that's from all the pollution and smog. But.
I was on to something.
But could be air pollution from. I mean, that could be part of it too. You never know.
It's true. It's true. You don't ever know, but I want to. And believe me, talking about Chem Trails and all that stuff may not be the most exciting thing, but we try to make it that way. So if we're boring you,
sorry.
We're sorry, but that's just what it's kind of about.
Don't come to a podcast talking about chemtrails if you don't want to learn about chemtrails.
No.
So I think nice.
Thanks.
I think this conspiracy kind of started to become really popular in the late 90s and early 2000s. I wrote down this like one person who had seen chemtrails, but I feel like it's not really that important.
Who'd you get?
I wrote down St. Brent and her partner Lou Abonchant from Maine.
Never mind.
But they were like late night, radio hosts.
Yeah. Okay.
And I guess like one day they like noticed these large white trails following aircraft, and this was in 2000. And
so sorry, we were I couldn't remember. Our camera stopped again.
Yep.
We were too into this what
the
we're talking
conversation.
about, and we completely brain farted.
Yeah, we're not paying attention.
And I was trying to remember evaporation because of you were saying that when planes go overhead.
Yeah.
That in which they leave behind should go away quick.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't, there's something else going on in there. And I was saying that in the morning when you have fog and you have the sun hitting the fog, it evaporates.
Yeah.
So it goes quickly. If those are still there, there's something else going on.
For real.
Which we don't, like I said, I would love to be like one of those scientists who, maybe sends up something like through. You click a button, it opens up, it gathers what's in the thing, you bring it back down.
Like a Venus flytrap.
Yeah. But anyway, this guy, David Keith, he's a scientist and he's a solar geoengineer. He graduated with a BS in physics from the University of Toronto in 1986.
Okay.
And in 1991 he got his PhD in experimental physics at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology.
MIT.
Yeah, and he worked on solar engineering since 1992. So he basically says that they spray reflective particles into the upper atmosphere, and he was
To reflect
trying,
the sun?
No. Well, he was spraying the reflective particles in order to combat climate change.
Okay.
So what he was trying to do was spray those particles and then let the sun reflect and try and keep things from getting worse. Okay. Yes. So basically, but it was one of those things where he was trying to do this, and there were some people who liked it and some people who didn't, just because you're messing with the atmosphere.
Yeah, so that's literally like what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So
it all circles back around.
It does. I think we've said that almost every episode.
I know. It's so true though, because it's like I was saying earlier, this is something that's, potentially really good for the environment, because it's going to help basically the planet to not continuously heat up, which it's doing.
Some people don't even believe that.
I know, and
some people do.
It's crazy that people would. I get, because you're messing with like Mother Nature and stuff, but it's like if you have the ability to help, global warming.
Would you do it?
Exactly. But you get those people who don't believe in global warming and are like, well, don't put that in the air because you're like messing with it.
Got a bad itch.
But you never know. I mean, it's kind of like the thing too where you could be doing this to help it out, but we don't really know any long-term effects. So in the long run, it could.
Well, I read a little bit about like computer simulations.
Oh, okay. So like AI and stuff.
Yeah. Before they went and actually did that, they would say, "Hey, you know what? Let's get somebody to try and recreate what we're doing in like a simulation and see what happens, and we'll gather our information and see if it kind of lines up with our atmosphere.
Yeah.
And we'll try it out. But the thing is, it's like, okay, the air is the air the same everywhere? It's like where in the world has the worst air pollution? Like
probably China.
China or like LA.
LA's pretty bad too.
Is pretty bad. Did I hear Brazil? Did Brazil?
Really? I don't know.
I'm not sure. I think I don't know. I could be wrong. Let me know. But no, China, because everybody wears a mask, and it's not a fashion statement.
Yeah.
And I've heard LA has really bad, really bad pollution just because of the crazy traffic.
I think India has really bad pollution too. Yeah. I'm pretty sure India has like really bad pollution because I think a lot of people, I could be wrong, but I'm almost positive I think a lot of people wear like the face masks there as well.
But yeah, I think a lot of this stuff has to do with, weather modification. I mean, it's kind of like HAARP.
Yeah.
Wow, did you see the lightning?
No.
I just saw lightning. That was crazy.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, I totally missed it.
That was pretty cool.
Oh my gosh.
HAARP.
Oh, I just heard that. The thunder.
But like HAARP, sending out different frequencies to the ionosphere and trying to change weather patterns and all that stuff.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
I think that technology is
good and bad.
I think it could be good and bad, but I definitely think
phones and then you got this other stuff.
I think they definitely have the technology to like extremely manipulate weather. Oh, I don't know if they do, but I think it's definitely there. It's just like when you're researching, did you hear about this thing called, what was it, cloud seeding or something like that? It was, I don't think I wound up...
balloons?
No, it's basically where, hold on, let me look it up. But it's basically where they like release like chemicals. We have until like 9:23 and then we'll check.
Cool.
But they release chemicals into. Let me look it up and then I'll actually.
Kellie's gonna do a little research right now because, as much as. Ooh, it's raining.
Rain.
As much as Kellie does her research and makes her notes and stuff.
I know, I didn't have as
I'm
much
trying
time
to
to
catch
do.
up. I got my, I found my pad and paper and
Yeah.
been doing some research and stuff.
No, you've done some really good research this time. You did really good. Okay, so yeah, it's basically where they drop silver iodide or dry ice into
Ooh.
rain clouds. And I think what it's basically supposed to do is it's supposed to
Very nice.
produce more ice crystals at higher temperatures. So you can basically use it for different things. You can either use it to increase snowfall, or you can do it to basically help stop rain, depending on how much you. I know, as it's raining. Whoa, weird.
Whoa, Jinx, you owe me something.
But basically, you can use it to manipulate clouds and rainfall and snowfall, and they did this in the Beijing Olympics because I think it was supposed to rain really heavily.
Really?
So they did this.
That I didn't hear.
Yeah, so they did this to
Cool.
basically, to coax
Cool,
rain
not
shower.
too-
Okay, so it was attempted during the Beijing Olympics. To basically, they were trying to get it to rain before the Olympics because there was all these rain clouds. So they attempted it to try to make it
just get
rain
it out of the way?
before and after the opening and closing ceremonies.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I was wondering where that was going.
I don't think they really know whether it was that successful or not, but it's still interesting that they did this for the Olympics.
Now, what if there was just a large scale business that we haven't heard of that is in charge of everything?
Absolutely. Are you talking about New
Is
World
it-
Order?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Don't know.
But no, what's really interesting, if you guys want to do it, is when you research something, try to avoid the first 3 pages of your research.
Yeah.
Go to your 5th or your 10th or further, because
That's
You know,
where you get all
Google
the
is
interesting
just-
websites.
I mean, you type in whatever you type in, you hit enter. The first ones that pop up are pretty much the first ones that are
that Google wants you to see.
basically. So if you go to the 10th page and read about it, there's a lot of cool stuff.
And hidden information and smaller articles.
Hidden information.
Yeah.
Yeah, because people, and it's not just 4 people writing about this stuff.
Yeah.
It's multiple people. I just
Yeah.
happened to come across this David Keith guy who, seems pretty legit.
Yeah.
And he's doing sciencey stuff with solar geoengineering, which I think is pretty cool.
It is pretty cool, for sure.
Um,
Well, I know that they supposedly can, and I think they've tested this before, not anytime recently, but here it is. The Pentagon has done experiments in the 50s trying to control the weather, where they basically tried to control hurricanes' paths. They would basically fly into the eye of the storm and put this heat-robbing chemical into the storm that would basically help to, I think, calm down the hurricane or alter its path.
Wow.
And this is proven that they've done this, but they just don't use it now. I don't know if
What
it's
was
just
that
not that
tornado movie?
effective or Twister.
Yeah, that type of stuff. Only they were doing it for research on how the Twister started. And
Yeah.
this is completely different. This is okay, Twister, make a left.
Yeah, right.
All right, slow down.
But you would think that if they could do that, especially with all the recent hurricanes,
That's the other
the
thing.
ones that were happening in Texas, that was last year, right? Or 2 years ago? Those insane
that.
hurricanes
Yeah.
that flooded the huge chunk of the state.
It was bad.
And you would think that if they do have this ability, why wouldn't they do something about it? I mean, unless it's it could be too where that's such a large storm, it might be too dangerous for them to try and
it's
mess
almost
with
it's
it.
almost like this. It's everybody wants to go to the party, but nobody wants to stay and clean up. So if you're doing these experiments and you're the scientist and you're doing it, and then you have your cleanup crew coming in.
Yeah.
So you don't really care about how much trash you throw all over the place, because it doesn't really matter to you. But then the people coming in and cleaning it up, they have to worry about it.
Yeah. Yeah. So it could be a thing too where especially where if it's a really populated area, if you're messing with this, you never really know what those chemicals are gonna wind up leaving.
I do like cleaning up after the party, though.
It could even be a thing where, like, these chemicals could potentially be dangerous if you are, just flying into a storm and then adding all these, like, chemicals. It could make it could, like, simmer it down, but then, like, what's going to happen with those chemicals are going to go back into the atmosphere and the water, and they could potentially hurt the population.
Air's a big one. Air's the whole thing.
I guess that makes sense if
or even like
they're not using it.
Like
it could be because,
like everything's up there and it just falls and you get it on your skin and you get it in your eyes and you start. It just.
I guess with
worms everywhere.
I feel like that's what all of this stuff is it's like, you can try to control the weather, but then, like, what happens with those, like, chemicals that you just injected into the air and the atmosphere? Crazy.
Just injected in general, man. Wow. On this Wikipedia site, if you guys type in to Wikipedia, Chem Trail conspiracy theory, and then you go all the way to the bottom at the references, there's like, I'm going on 50 now. There's 55 different references to everything written about the conspiracy. So, enjoy your reading. Take one of the.
Thanks, Wikipedia.
Take one of those bad habits you think are bad that you've been trying to change and apply them to, maybe researching something you've been really curious about over time, and that will take place of that.
Yeah, and just keep your bad habit.
Or just keep it.
Don't worry about fixing it. Instead of focusing on that, focus on conspiracy theories and chemtrails. It's like me. I could do my laundry, or I could read about conspiracies.
So
I mean, which of the two sounds better?
Well, think you're reading about a conspiracy. We're talking about chemtrails. We're reading about it. How much time goes by?
I guess I could be having laundry going while I'm doing this.
That's true. You could, but then if you don't set a timer for your laundry. Oh, well. Laundromat. But anyway, this stuff is not just used in America. And I wonder if more of it is going on
in other countries.
Other places. That's totally happening
possible.
Here. So I don't know. I've only seen. That's what I should do. I should look up stuff happening in other parts of the world other than. It would be interesting
to like research conspiracy theories that are popular like around the world, because I feel like there's a lot of conspiracies that we're gonna research that are obviously mostly like American conspiracies. So it'd be cool to like read about conspiracy
theories from around the world.
World. Did you know they're bringing back Double Dare 2000?
She brings this up now.
I'm pretty sure they already. I wonder if they already did.
2000.
But if they haven't yet, I know that they are.
37.
But
I don't know why I keep going back to flip it. Like I want to read like more notes, but literally all I have is like one page, and they're all splattered.
So the thing with this too is like a lot of people are like, well, this is just bullshit. Like you have no proof, and it's true. There's not really any proof of it now.
Not really.
But the thing is this kind of idea of these chemtrails, it's been done before in the past. This isn't something new. It's not like something that they pulled out of a hat. This is something that has gone on in the past.
Mm-hmm. Well, a quick line from what it says on here. Those who subscribe to the theory, it's a monthly, you have to subscribe monthly to, chemtrail conspiracies.
And Spill the Beans podcast.
Exactly.
Subscribe.
Yes. Thank you. Speculate that the purpose of the chemical release may be solar radiation management. It could be weather modification we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Psychological manipulation of just a large, like New York or something, just like a big
big population.
Yeah. And these things, I think, happen. I mean, a chemtrail going across New York is not going to hit Arizona. Or will it? But,
probably not Arizona, but it could result in, close by.
I mean, biological or chemical warfare.
Yeah.
That exists.
So going off of that, actually, biological and chemical warfare. So basically, all right, so there's a bunch of stuff kind of relating to that. In the 50s and 60s, basically during the time of the Vietnam War, the U.S. engaged in chemical warfare, which is pretty crazy and it's pretty terrible. But they released this thing called Agent Orange, which is an herbicide that was released by military aircraft during the Vietnam War. And it was released to kill forests and reduce the foliage in Vietnam, so it would be easier for them to basically attack and see what they're doing. And this caused a lot of problems. It caused so many health.
Tell us what problems it caused.
I will. It caused so many basically side effects in people's health. A lot of people developed cancer. There were birth defects, mental, psychological health issues, and not only with the people of Vietnam, but also a lot of the soldiers who then had to go on to these fields where they just laid down all of this chemical.
You couldn't even wash that stuff off.
No, there's no way. You're breathing it in. It was I think it was thousands of gallons of this, which is terrible. And you know what? I guess I don't understand. Not that I don't understand. You know, obviously there was.
You're not going to offend anyone.
There was a war, and I don't really know much about the Vietnam War. I'm not really sure why we were fighting it, to be honest.
But I remember Agent Orange.
And I get that you're in a war and you're gonna do what you need to do to win. But at the same time, it's think of this, you're you're laying that over fields. This is people's home. There's children, there's completely innocent people that are being affected by this.
I mean, if they're growing,
and that is basically
if they have a garden,
they're growing their food, their crops, and this is basically the same thing as a chemtrail.
Yeah.
Just not in our own country.
No, not in our own country, but we also, that's the thing, we know about this.
Exactly. So
our
it's
own stuff.
It's been proven that it has happened in the past, so what's to say it's not going on now?
Maybe a little bit. Not full on.
Yeah.
But over time.
Yeah, they do it in a more subtle way, because if they're just dropping Agent Orange on everyone, we'd be like, what the fuck is going on?
Exactly. It's like what we were talking about with Area 51 and their projects. It's you put them away for 10 years and you bring them back and you have all the stuff you need.
Exactly.
Exactly. Are we back? Oh, we're back.
We're back.
Hello.
Okay. So, also, this isn't chemical warfare, but there was this program in the 50s and 60s. Apparently, they were doing a lot of this shit in the 50s and 60s. But there was this operation called Operation LAC, or Large Area Coverage, where basically the U.S. was taking chemical airdrops of zinc cadmium sulfide, and they were doing different tests with it. Basically, airdrops and testing of shooting it from the ground out. And the whole point of this operation was to basically test chemical warfare and to see. I don't think that this chemical was actually harmful,
right?
Supposedly, but because they were covering large areas of the U.S. and testing it in all sorts of areas. But it was basically to test to see how far these chemicals would expand, and to see basically just how what's the right word? How successful.
Yeah, I was waiting for it.
How successful this would be.
Yeah.
And to test the patterns of how...
It's all a test.
It's all a test basically to just see what the fuck is going to happen. You guys understand.
But there is also an image here of aerial herbicide spray missions in southern Vietnam, 1965 to 71, and it shows you where they sprayed what they sprayed. so we can put.
Well,
that
yeah, we'll have
here.
to put that up. Yeah.
And you can see where it happened, and that's just one thing. What if that's happening? What if that's happening to us at a slower rate?
Yeah.
But by people who know they're doing it to the same people in the name of science.
Yeah, in the
Or
name
in
of
the name
science or in the name of population control.
Yeah.
Trying to kind of diminish the population.
A lot of people out there.
Yeah, which I don't believe that doing chemical warfare is the right way of population control.
No.
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of understand the idea of population control, so that way the Earth doesn't become like overly populated and we kind of run out of resources, which I think is a total possibility.
Big time.
But
it's a lot to think. That's why
it's
we
a
have
lot to
pauses.
think about. Yeah,
we have pauses so much because it's a lot to think about and it's a lot to take in.
It is.
I've been kind of reading a little here, a little there since like Sunday.
Yeah.
And it's a lot to wrap your head around, and the more you wrap your head around it, the more exhausted you get, and then you pick up next time, and it's just so much. It is so much.
What are we gonna do?
Keep researching.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Researching. Just keep researching.
Air drums. What? Nice. Is there anything else on your
That's
list?
pretty much all I got for like notes. But we can.
What is that one? Did you mention that?
No, I didn't. But that kind of relates back to the Operation LAC, large area coverage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that this does when I was researching.
Corpus Christi, Texas.
That is actually where Selena is from.
Selena Gomez?
Selena. No, the singer Selena.
Oh, well, sorry.
Well, Selena Gomez is a singer, but the first Selena.
Oh, the first Selena.
I love how me and you were both just like. But so I think this was part of the LAC large area coverage operation where they did, they were doing these like sprayings of chemicals, and they did a spraying over Corpus Christi, Texas, in St. Louis with radium added to the mixture.
Yep.
And people were reporting that they were seeing these sprayings happening mostly in low-income areas, which a lot of people relate back to population control.
So something as simple as a chemtrail. You look up and you're like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
And then you just go about your day versus looking it up and be like, wow. Is that really what's going on here?
Well,
I just thought it was a
you
plane.
think about it, like when you were a little kid, you would just look up and be like, "Oh, look at the plane cloud."
I didn't look up and think, "Hey, look at the chemtrail."
Yeah, I didn't look up and be like, "Wow, that's probably fucking killing me."
But it could very, very well be. Not really sure. It's not a fact.
It's not really proven. There's not really much evidence. There's not really much evidence really proving anything about chemtrails. I think the biggest evidence would be the fact that this kind of thing has happened in the past, and the fact that there is the technology out there for weather control.
I think there's the technology out there for anything that we want to do, or for us to partner with someone and get it, done and taken care of.
It could even be too where it's like, because with this type of conspiracy, if it's the government involved, that's got to be so many people involved. It would be hard to keep it quiet. It could even be on like a very small scale thing where it's like a private company or a very secret, operation.
Kellie could be right.
But I don't think we'll ever know. Just like with everything, we'll never really know the true answer. I mean, this could all be a simulation anyways, and we're just living in the Matrix.
It could be. It could be Truman Show.
Could be the Truman Show.
That's true.
We should watch that.
How many times have you seen it?
Maybe I think only once and a half.
Once and a half?
Or
I've seen
twice.
It 3 times.
Yeah.
It's good. I mean, don't get me wrong.
You got me beat.
Don't get me wrong, it's a good movie. But,
it is a good movie.
I don't believe there are any chemtrails in that movie.
Oh, I don't think so. I just think we should watch it because it's a good movie and it's
True.
kind of conspiracy-ish, I
But
guess.
I wouldn't mind. I mean, if you guys know of any type of like documentary on this stuff, or anything on YouTube that we should look up and watch to get more familiar with what's kind of going on, because I feel like this is like the beginning. It's like everything we do here is like the beginning, and then we're always gonna have like a part 2.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like season 1 is
where
like
we
the
like
beginning,
dive deeper. There'll be some stuff too where we can dive deep in the first episode, but a lot of these things like chemtrails, there's just not enough evidence out there about it. When we cover other topics that aren't just necessarily conspiracies, but maybe we need to cover true crime topics soon.
I'm excited for those.
Yeah, because I think everything we've done so far has pretty much been conspiracies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But,
well,
the first one, the Annabelle one was paranormal.
Yeah,
the second one, that was paranormal.
I'm looking forward to more paranormal stuff.
Yeah.
I want to get like an EVP.
That would be so cool. An EVP reader.
Yeah.
That would be awesome.
One of those things. Sorry, all this chem trailing is getting me sleepy.
I know, it kind of is with me too. Alright, so I made an email for us the other day.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, that's how we set up the YouTube, and I'm trying to remember what it is. I think it's Spill the Beans Conspiracy Podcast.
Okay.
At gmail.com.
Okay.
I'm almost positive that's what it is.
So
write us in at that.
It's probably not just Spill the Beans.
No, it's not, because someone else had that. So I think it was Spill the Beans Conspiracy Podcast.
Okay.
At gmail.com.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. If that's not it, you're writing to someone else, but I'm almost positive that's it.
That's going to be funny.
And if it's not it, I will put it in the description what our actual email is, so you guys can write into us and...
Plus, this is all new
whatever.
stuff. I mean, this is our what? 5th?
This is actually our 5th episode.
Our 5th episode.
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to have a party for our 10th.
I know. Is this our 5th episode, or is it the 4th?
I think it's the 5th. I think it's the 5th one.
Trying to remember.
Big number 05.
Is it? I think this is... Okay.
Let's count them.
Alright, so there was the
first
fishbowl.
one, the fishbowl, which...
Or the Shark Tank.
Shark Tank, yeah.
Annabelle.
Mm-hmm. There was the...
Wasn't number 3 Area 51?
Area 51. So that makes it... We don't even know how many we have.
I think this is number 4.
I think this might be 4.
I think this is 4.
I
was convinced that it was 5 for a minute, but
Me too.
I think it's 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is number 4.
This is number 4, and I'm excited about number 5 and 6 and continuing all that.
Yeah.
However, I mean, chemtrails, I don't want to say they are what they are, because I know they're not. But, I mean, there's a lot of scientists out there that know about them. Why haven't I read anything about, like, NASA and chemtrails?
Well, NASA, says that they're not real. Yeah, so. Yeah, they basically just relate it back to condensation trails.
Oh, remember that, I'm just looking here, remember that DDT stuff? That, I can't even say that word. Commonly known as DDT is a colorless, tasteless...
Dichlorodiphenyl-trichloroethane. I think I actually did correctly say it. I just said it super slow.
That was very slow, but I think she nailed it.
I think I did too.
It's an almost odorless crystalline chemical compound, originally developed as an insecticide and ultimately becoming infamous for its environmental... Wasn't that in mosquito spray?
I think it's DEET, but it could be the same thing.
Yeah.
I have no
DDT...
clue.
Insecticidal action.
When did you mention DDT? Was that in one of the...
I did not mention DDT, but I remember reading about it in the past.
Oh.
Which makes me think that maybe DDT is something that they could potentially put in, a chemtrail.
Yeah.
Over,
Dude, I feel like if you talk about any chemical, someone's like, put it in a chemtrail.
Insert chemical here. It was used in the second half of World War II to control malaria.
So it
among,
probably is
among
in
civilians and troops.
Oh. I mean, controlling malaria wouldn't necessarily be a bad thing.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
But just because you control one thing doesn't mean that you're not gonna like
be able to do other things with it. Yeah.
So, discovering how did you contact poisoning against cell blah 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 blah.
Well, I feel like.
Anyway.
I feel like we can pretty much wrap it up there, right?
I guess so.
Yeah.
I mean, there's as much as I would love to say we could go on and on and on and on.
With this topic, I mean, we could, but I don't really have much more to say because there's just not that much information out there.
Mm-hmm. Or
it's just a lot of speculation.
Maybe we'll do like with the last one. Maybe we'll do a part 2 of what we research, and I mean, we are just like you, busy during the week.
Yes.
We do our own things.
Full-time jobs.
Yeah, and you research when you can, and you gotta make dinner, you gotta do this, and you gotta get your stuff ready for work, so we understand. And we're trying to make these topics fun, even if they're not fun.
They're fun for us. I think they'll be fun. I hope they're fun for you guys because this is the kind of stuff that I really like to listen to. So I hope that, the people that listen to the podcast that we listen to also enjoy listening to us.
Absolutely. I would hope so.
Yeah.
But plus, like, people like that they're not vicious.
Yeah. We're a very understanding group.
But I think since we've kind of come to the end of what we've learned and what we want to share with you guys, what we want to point out and, tell you to, do your own research and look up and see what's going on.
Always do your own research so you can form your own opinion.
Forming your own opinion
this is
great.
all based on, everything we say is basically based on, a lot of it is based on research, but a lot of it too is our opinion based on what we've read. So take everything with a grain of salt, think for yourself, keep an open mind, and, fuck it, space.
Fuck it, space.
Nice. Somehow we wound up making that an hour. Yeah. I thought it was not going to be an hour.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it's a solid hour. That's good. But yeah, like,